Over the past 5 weeks, we have been looking at Psalm 23. We have thought about how God tends to us, how he protects us, how he leads us, how he wants to share life with us, how he wants us to invite him into our lives. And this week is going to be the final week looking at Psalm 23. The verse for this week is, "Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." I want to start thinking about goodness to start with. I know it's really difficult at the moment. It can seem like there is not a lot of good going on in the world, and it can feel quite overwhelming. It's so easy to get caught up in all the bad things that happen that you forget the good things, and I personally so regularly will have an amazing day, and then there'll be maybe 5 minutes of the day where it's not so great, and I'll just remember those 5 minutes, and it might put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. God gives us 100 glorious moments, and maybe we'll have 5 bad moments, and it's going to be those 5 that we remember. And I think I really want to tackle that and focus on the goodness that God has brought into our lives, because it can feel really overwhelming when all we remember is the bad. So how can we begin to do that? How can we begin to remember all the good? Well, my first suggestion is that when somebody asks you how your day was, maybe try not to focus on the bad things, try not to think about the bad things, try not to say those bad things. Instead, try to think of some good things that have happened. Try to focus your mind on all of the goodness that God has brought into your life. So we're just going to take a little bit of time in our groups, and I want you to share 3 things that have happened to you in the past week that have been good. I want you to share 1 big thing, 1 small thing, and 1 anything at all. So a big thing, for example, could be you're thankful for your family. You're thankful that you have a house over your head. You're thankful that you have food in your mouths, that the sun is shining, anything really on a bigger scale. Be thankful for something that's small. If you had a delicious meal this week, if you baked a gorgeous cookie, anything small like that, and then anything at all. So Psalm 23 says that surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. So I want to look a little bit at mercy next. So what is mercy? Well, the Oxford Dictionary says that mercy is compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone whom it is within one's power to punish or harm. It's also defined as an event to be grateful for because it prevents something unpleasant or provides relief from suffering. So if we have mercy following us all the days of our lives, then why is it that we need this mercy? Well, I know we've spoken before about sin. And sin is such a scary word. It's such a negative word. It has really negative connotations about it. And what it really means is falling short of the glory of God. It just means missing the mark, not being perfect, not being Christ-like. And I know I certainly fall short of the glory of God every single day. Probably, I don't know, every 5-10 minutes I probably do it. And so I need the mercy in my life, because if I did not have mercy, if God did not have mercy on me, then I would not be joining him. Obviously God's mercy is shown in Psalm 23 when it says, "And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." So if I didn't have God's mercy, I would not be going to dwell in his house. So I need his mercy. So firstly, how do we receive it? It says that we need it, and surely it will follow us, but how do we actually receive it? So first of all, we need to be repentant for our sins. We need to be sorry for those sins, and that doesn't just mean you intentionally do something and then you turn around and go, "Oh, sorry," and then you move on. It means actually genuinely in your heart being sorry that you did something and wanting to not ever do that again, wanting to not make that mistake ever again. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus says, "Be merciful just as your Father is merciful." And he also says, "For the measure that you use, it will be measured unto you." So how can we be merciful to others? If we are to receive mercy ourselves, we need to be merciful to others. We need to forgive others for things that they've done against us. But how can we do that? That is something that is so difficult to do if someone's hurt you really badly and you need to forgive them. Forgiveness is something that doesn't always come easy. So I just want you to take a minute. I want to play a little bit of music, and I want you just to think about someone that you need to forgive. Someone who has hurt you, someone that you're holding a grudge against, someone that you just have really bad feelings about whenever you think of them. And I just want, in your own mind, to think of that person and what happened, and then after that minute's gone, we're just going to go back into our groups, and then we're going to discuss not about those particular moments, they're all very private, but we're going to discuss how you can begin to forgive someone. I want you to think about the first steps that you need to take towards forgiveness. Showing mercy is one of the most difficult things that we can do as human beings. God is so incredible that he forgives us every time we ask him to. And it must be so incredibly frustrating for him when we do the same things over and over and over again and continually ask for forgiveness. But he continues to forgive us because he just loves us so much, and it is within his power to do so. The last sentence of the final verse that we're looking at it explains what Christianity is all about. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's what we're all aiming for. If someone was to walk up to you today and say that you could live a fulfilling life on earth, and then you can live eternity in a world without pain, without malice or injustice, without cruelty or evil, a world of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness and self-control, what would you say? For what God offers us, we need to be celebrating. It's absolutely amazing. And we need to refocus our minds on those great goals, because yes, the little things in life, they may not be good. Some things may happen in life and it may get us down, but actually if we have our eyes on that end goal, then life really, those little things, they don't matter. It really puts everything into perspective. But I want to think about how we actually get there. How do we get to, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever? Because it's easy enough to say it, that's what Christianity is all about, but how practically do we actually get there? How do we achieve that place? I'm going to read Psalm 23 for the last 5 weeks, the verses we've been looking at again. And then I want us to go into our groups and I want us to discuss this. How do we get there? And then we'll have a little bit of catch up and we'll have a little bit of prayer time. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even when I walk in the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.